In the Chinese Ming Empire, 1368 to uh, yeah 1368 to 1644, the population were organized into the Baojia system. 10 families were grouped to form a jia, and 10 jia constitute a bao. When a member of a bao committed a crime, other bao members could be punished for it. In particular, the bao elders' taxes too were levied on the bao, and it was the responsibility of the bao elders rather than of the state officials to assess the situation of each family and determine the amount of tax it should pay. From the empire's perspective, this system had a huge advantage. Instead of maintaining thousands of revenue officials and tax collectors who would have to monitor the earnings and expenses of every families, the tax were left to the community elders. The elders knew how much each villager was worth, and they could usually enforce tax payment without involving the imperial army. Many kingdoms and empires were in truth little more than large protection rackets. The king were the capo di tutti capi who collected protection money, and in return made sure that neighboring crime syndicates and local small fry did not harm those under his protection. He did little else. Life in the bosom of family and community was far from the ideal. Families and communities could oppress their members no less brutally than do modern states and markets, and their internal dynamics were often fraught with tension and violence. Yet people had little choice. A person who lost her family and community around 1750 was as good as dead. She had no job, no education, and no support in times of sickness and distress. Nobody would loan her money or defend her if she got into trouble. There were no policemen, no social workers, and no compulsory education. In order to survive, such a person quickly had to find an alternative family or community. Boys and girls who ran away from home could expect at best to become servants in some new family. At worst, there was the army or the brothel. All this changed dramatically over the last 2 centuries. The Industrial Revolution gave the market immense new powers, provided the state with new means of communication and transportation, and placed at the government's disposal an army of clerks, teachers, policemen, and social workers. At first, the market and the state discovered their path blocked by traditional family and community who had little love for outside intervention. Parents and community elders were reluctant to let the younger generation be indoctrinated by nationalist education system, conscripted to armies, or turned into a ruthless urban proletariat. Over time, states and markets used their growing power to weaken the traditional bonds of family and community. The state sent its policemen to stop family vendettas and replace them with court decisions. The market sent its hawkers to wipe out long-standing local traditions and replace them with ever-changing commercial fashion. Yet this was not enough. In order really to break the power of a family and community, they needed help of a 50 column. The state and the market approached people with an offer that could not be refused. Become individuals, they said. Marry whomever you desire. Marry whomever you desire. without asking permission from your parents, taking up whatever job suits you, even if community elders frown, live where live wherever you wish, even if you cannot make it every week to the family dinner. You are no longer dependent on your family or your community. We, the state and the market, will take care of you instead. We will provide food, shelter, education, health, welfare, and employment. We will provide pension, insurance, and protections. Romantic literature often presents the individual and as somebody caught in a struggle against the state and the market. Nothing could be further from the truth. The state and the market are the mother and father of the individuals, and the individual can survive only thanks to them. The market provides us with work, insurance, and a pension. If we want to study a profession, the government schools are there to teach it. If we want to open a business, the bank loans us money. If we want to build a house, a construction company builds it and the bank gives us a mortgage. In some cases, subsidized or insured by the state. If violence flares up, the police protects us. If we are sick for a few days, our health insurance takes care of us. If we are debili- if we are debilitated for months, Social Security steps in. If we need around the clock assistance, we can go to the market and hire a nurse, usually some stranger from the other side of the world who take care of us with the kind of devotion that we no longer expect from our own children. If we have the means, we can spend our golden years at a senior citizen's home. The tax authority treat us as individuals and do not expect us to pay the neighbor's taxes. The courts to see us as individuals and never punish us for the crimes of our cousins. Not only adult men but also women and children are recognized as individuals. Throughout most of history, women were often seen as the property of family or community. Modern states, on the other hand, see women as individuals enjoying economic and legal rights independently of their family and community. They may hold their own bank accounts, decide whom to marry, and even choose to divorce or live on their own. But the liberation of the individual comes at a cost. Many of us now bewail the loss of strong families and communities and feel alienated and threatened by the power the impersonal state and market wield over our lives. States and market composed of alienated individuals can intervene in the lives of their members much more easily than states and markets composed of strong families and communities. When neighbors in a high-rise apartment building cannot even agree on how much to pay their janitor, how can we expect them to resist the state? The deal between states, markets and individuals is an uneasy one. The state and the market disagree about their mutual rights and obligations, and individuals complain that both demand too much and provide too little. In many cases, individuals are exploited by markets, and states employ their armies, policy forces, and bureaucracy to persecute individuals instead of defending them. Yet, it is amazing that this deal works at all, however imperfectly, for it breaches countless generations of human social arrangements. Millions of years of evolution have designed us to live and think as community members. Within a mere 2 centuries, we have become alienated individuals. Nothing testifies better to the awesome power of culture. The nuclear family did not disappear completely from the modern landscape. When state and market took from the family most of its economic and political roles, they left it some important emotional function. The modern family is still supposed to provide for intimate needs which state and market are so far incapable of providing. Yet, even here, the family is subject to increasing interventions. The market shapes to an ever greater degree the way people conduct their romantic and sexual lives, whereas traditional the family was the main matchmaker. Today, it's the market that tailors our romantic and sexual preferences, and then lends a hand in providing for them for a fat fee. Previously, bride and groom met in the family living room, and money passed from the hands of one father to another. Today's courting is done at bars and cafes, and money passes from the hands of lovers to waitresses. Even more money is transferred to the bank accounts of fashion designers, gym managers, dietitians, cosmeticians, and plastic surgeons who happen arrive at the cafe looking as similar as possible to the market's ideal of beauty. The pre-modern cycle: strong family and community, weak state and market, weak individuals. Weak family and community, strong state and market, strong individuals. Family and community versus state and market. The modern cycle. The state too keeps The state too keeps a sharper eye on a family's relations, especially between parents and children. Parents are obliged to stand Parents are obliged to stand their children Parents are obliged to send their children to be educated by the state. Parents who are especially abusive or violent with their children may be restrained by the state. If need be, the state may even imprison the parents or transfer their children to foster even imprison the parents or transfer their children to foster families. Until not long ago, the suggestion that the state ought to prevent parents from beating or humiliating their children would have been rejected out of hand as ridiculous and unworkable. In most society, parental authority was sacred. Respect of and obedience to one's parent were among the most hallowed values, and parents could do almost anything they wanted, including killing newborn babies, selling children into slavery, and marrying off daughters to men more than twice their age. Today, parental authority is in full retreat. Youngsters are increasingly excused from obeying their elders, whereas parents are blamed for anything that goes wrong in the life of their child. Mom and dad are about as likely to get off in the Freudian courtroom as well as were the Freudians in a Stalinist show trial. Emergent communities. Okay. And this is the commands. Tôi bắt đầu. Tay phải. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Do, mi, son, do, mi, re, son, fa, mi, do, son, mi, re, mi, fa, re, do, mi, son, do, mi, re, son, fa, mi, son, mi, re, do, mi, do, re, mi, re, fa, mi, re, mi, do, re, mi, re, fa, mi, do, re, do, mi, son, do, mi, re, no, no, do, mi, son, do, mi, re, son, fa, mi, son, mi, re, do, son, mi, re, do, son, mi, re, do. Tay trái. Do, 2, 3, 4, son, 2, 3, 4, do, 2, 3, 4, son, 2, 3, 4, do, 2, 3, 4, son, 2, 3, 4, do, 2, son, 2, do, 2, son, 2, do, son, do, 2, 3, 4, do, 2, 3, 4, son, 2, 3, 4, do, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, đồ, đồ 2, son 2, đồ 2, 3, 4, son 2, 3, 4, đồ 2, son 2, đồ 2, son 2, đồ 2, son 2, đồ 2, 3, 4. Yes, hai tay. No. Gần được rồi. Mở metronome lên. Nhanh quá không? Trời ơi. thôi. Nhầm rồi. nha. Ok, tiếp tục tăng lên một chút nào. Again. Again. Ok. Dấu luyến là ký hiệu hình vòng cung nối các nốt không cùng cao độ. Khi chơi đàn nếu gặp dấu luyến, chúng ta phải chơi các nốt trong phạm vi dấu luyến sao cho thật liền tiếng. Kỹ thuật này gọi là legato. Để âm được liền tiếng, chỉ nhấc ngón tay này lên khi ngón khác đã được nhấn xuống. Ok, ví dụ như vậy. So now it will be chỉ nhấc ngón này lên khi ngón tay khác được nhấn xuống ra. Đố mi son. So now it will be So dance really. Hello chị Hương. Không, em mỏi tay rồi. Thế thôi sao? Yes, chỉ thế thôi. Anh đi đọc tí gái anh đây. Thôi mọi mồm lắm, tối đọc tiếp. Đi trời. Em vừa đọc một lúc à?